Greetings everyone, Retro Indie Gamer here, and today we have Hydlide for the PC-88, the original, not that garbage NES version. This one actually started the story, why are you going after jewels? Because they were stolen, which makes sense, and yada yada. Hero named Jim. What the heck was TNT start faking a name like that? Well, it's pretty funny. Sorry for not sounding too well. I'm not feeling very good at the moment, but I decided to do this anyway. Oh, the key functions. Let's see. Start. Yep, that's the music. Oh yeah, and use the let's see, V things to move the number pad. And just ram into the enemies and kill them. It's actually a fun game mechanic, which I haven't seen many games use. Of course, they probably look at the NES version of this as an example, and they quickly back away. Though there is a couple really games that use a bump system like this really well. The early East games. Which, by the way, I'm planning on doing videos at one point. Ah, damn it. Game is over. Don't you love early Japanese English? I find it pretty funny. Let's see, press the turn again. Go for all this again. This time be careful. Let's see, go to attack mode. And kill all the slimes. Stand still to generate my health. Yeah, that's one thing a lot of games have used, especially a lot of modern FPSs. But it has been used in a lot of action RPGs. For example, try playing any of the early East games. Most notably the first two, and the original versions of 4. Which, and I tried to do videos on all those at one point. Because I've really gotten into those games recently. In fact, the only reason I went to play Hydlide on the NES was to see where its inspiration came from. Then I somehow made it through the NES version. I still have no idea how I was able to do it. Well, then I guess miracles happen. Die, slimes, die! Then I recently subscribed to Project Egg, which is a Japanese project to basically preserve a lot of really old Japanese computer games. And I found this on there for about $3. I must say, it's a lot of fun. Much more than the garbage version, which I got in the actual cartridge for $4 a couple months back. And I somehow managed to get through it in one piece. Not before losing my sanity, though. And I only got this version a couple of days ago. And I already noticed save. Oh, I should show you how. And I already noticed a lot of differences there are in the original version than in a couple of the later ports. Most notably the NES one. The NES and Famicom one, which, if you can believe it, was actually called Hydlide Special in Japan. I'm guessing they did that because in the NES, Famicom and NES version of Hydlide, they added the magic system, which the original game did not have. In fact, I think it was the second game that introduced the magic system to the series. Yeah, because there are a whole bunch of these. And I think the first 3 are on the PC-88. I'll probably try those at one point. But notice a lot of differences between this and the much later NES version. Keep in mind that this game was released in 1984, over 30 years ago. And it far outshines a version of the game that was made in 1989, or at least I think it was, or at least that's when the NES version was released in North America. Let's see, the graphics here look much better. And the music is also better. Not that annoying 15-second loop which resembles the Indiana Jones theme. And people mention how annoying it is, but I have a simple fix for it, which in fact what I did most of the time playing the game. I pressed the mute button on my remote. Let's just say that's the only time I put my TV on mute. Another thing is the save system. Yeah, the NES version uses a strange password system, which is not too unusual for old RPGs, because, in fact, if you play any of the original Dragon Quest games, the Famicom versions of them, not the US localizations, the original Japanese Famicom versions, they did use a password system instead of battery-packed memory, which a lot of them used. A little side note for the moment. I'm amazed at how long those NES save batteries last, because I have a copy of have a copy of Dragon Quest for the NES, or Dragon Warrior, because it's a North American version. And the battery and the battery, I'm surprised, still works. The game was in a playable state, but I'm amazed that the save battery works on a game that's over 20. The cartridge is probably at least 25 years old. I know, because anyway, back to Hydlide. Yeah, I use the strange password system, which you really need to use if you turn the game off, and for some bizarre reason, you just have to go back to it. Die, slime! Hold on, run, regenerate my health. Yeah, because in Hydlide, one thing I noticed that some viewers don't really mention is the loading within the game. Is that if you die and then you start the game over, you can go to the load screen. You can go to that menu, select load, and it'll pick up where you left off, where you last saved. It was actually the only reason I was able to get through it in one piece. But here, the saving is extremely simple. Just press the W button to save, select a number slot to save it to. I'm selecting 1, and press R to load. And voila! Yeah, this is another thing are the graphics. They look much more crisp here, especially for Jim. And the combat's also works a little nicer. For granted, it's still not nearly as refined as combat was in East. I know some people complain things like the window in this game. You'll actually find the borders like this in a lot of really old PC games. Not just in Japan, but in North America too. For example, if you try playing the first 2 games of the Duke Nukem series, which are platformers, damn good ones at that. Not great, but good. And they also had a border similar to this. Actually, it was very similar to this, which is very common in the early NES games, or early in PC games. For example, as I'll probably show you when I get to East, it also had a border window, though much better than this. Die, guys, die! Let's see, in this video I'll probably play to getting to probably either level 3 or getting that first fairy. Then I'll try through finishing the rest of this another time. Because I actually enjoy this version, not the garbage NES port. Okay, I leveled up, so I better save. And that music, if you can call that, just a series of beeps, which are surprisingly not as annoying as they would seem. At least not to me. Better than that annoying 15-second loop in the NES version, as I already said. Which is the only time I've ever put a video game on mute. It was that bad. Die, slimes, die! I like how the slimes look in this version. The designs of the NES are okay, but not here. Now, of course, Hydlide's still not much. It's only like a couple hours long. Though I hope the end boss in this version isn't luck-based like it was in the NES version. The NES version was sheer luck. Just run to room, attack, run out, heal, attack, repeat, rinse, and repeat until you luck out and win. That's not how a game's supposed to be played. It's interesting seeing how the bump system has been more refined in other games. For example, I'll keep mentioning the East series. I notice a lot of people compare this to, say, the Zelda games. You know, it's not really a fair comparison since, yeah, there's many years difference between them. But the fact that they're also different genres, the fact that Hydlide directly inspired the East series, which refined the gameplay mechanics in Hydlide, including having the including a refined bump system, which, or at least in later remakes, you had to hit enemies from a certain angle to do any damage, to do maximum damage without taking damage yourself. Here, you just do this. Well, in East, do that, you're pretty much, especially against stronger enemies, you're dead within seconds. Of course, not to mention, there's actually really good music in those games. It's interesting, I think this kind of resembles Zelda, even though it came out, this version came out 2 years earlier, in 1984, but Zelda came out in 1986 in Japan, in 1987 in the US. Huh, that means it's turning 30 this year. Yikes! I'm probably doing something special. I like the fact that another trademark Nintendo game is turning 30 this year. Super Mario Brothers. And I'm hoping I'll get the actual cartridge so I can hopefully stream it from there. Because what better way to celebrate the 30th anniversary of that extremely important and great game than playing it on the original cartridge, which won't be hard because it's not hard to find. Then again, the Hydlide cartridge was not hard to find. I see a whole bunch of them. Okay, don't want to go up there yet. Whee! Die, slimes! Yeah, so all you can do is go through the screen and some neighboring ones and kill the slimes. Even then, they're pretty much flopping around in the green, which I have seen them, but often are not. But pretty often in these games, they're blue. Probably going after Dragon Quest. Huh. It's still interesting how much this sort of resembles the original Legend of Zelda. Granted, the NES version does so more, which I'm guessing might have been intentional when it came out. May have suffered from bad timing, but this one, it's strange considering this game came out 2 years prior. Die! Let's see. No, it's interesting that I've seen a lot of people that claim that Hydlide is a Zelda ripoff, which is impossible since the game came out 2 years earlier. And this was in a thread when someone mentioned the AVGN review of the NES version. I mean, I see a lot of videos in the NES version, but I haven't seen that many on this version, which is which I can kind of see as you had to really look for it. I mean, I had to go around until I found out about Project Gag, which has for getting a lot of old Japanese PC games. And I made sure to get this game. Just to see if whether or not the NES version was a good support, and well, it was. Let's save again since I'm now at level 3. Let's see, kill this guy. Yeah, after you get certain levels, these guys give no experience. Now it's time to go here and get the fairy. And yes, the bees are in here too. Ah! Run, run, run! Oh, that was clever. That was lucky. I got the fairies on the second tree. How to quickly. Sorry about that. I'll quickly heal up and save. Not relevant. End the video by getting killed by letting myself get killed by bees. Ah! Run! 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 Ah! Rest in peace to the night. Murdered by a bunch of bees. Or wasps. Okay, wasps makes more sense. Actually, it could be either one. So yeah, that was Hydlide on the NES, everybody. No, not NES. PC-88. And as some of you can probably see, it's infinitely superior to that utter garbage on the NES. How that version got named Hydlide Special, I'll never know. At the very least, I'm here showcasing the original game. And if anyone wants to play this, I kind of recommend it. I mean, it's very old, and some parts of it have not aged well at all. But if you're into these old kind of games like I am, you might like it. So go check it out. Well, until next time, everyone.